Welcome to Paranormal or Reality. On today's video, we explore some ghost stories from around the country that will keep you up at night. Now make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. Let's begin. Let's start with some background. I have worked at the hospital for a year and a half as a service assistant. I've worked DS, day shift, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., ES, evening shift, 2 p.m. to 9 p.m., and NS, night shift, 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. During the DS, we are around 50 to 90 in the service department. During ES, there are about 15 people, of which 10 are responsible for cooking from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. And during NS, there are only 2 of us. It's no secret that you experience the most during the late evening and early morning hours. And oh my, I've seen a lot during the 1.5 years I've worked there. There are particularly 2 departments known to be haunted, Department 12-3 and Department 28-1. Both are outpatient departments, which means they are cleaned either in the evening or at night, and that's also where the most happens. Department 12-3. When I had just started, I had an evening shift training shift with Morton. It was my 3rd shift, so we decided to split up. Morton took the active, 24-hour departments, as those are the busiest, and I was assigned 3 sleeping, outpatient departments, as well as 1 closed department, which had been shut down because many patients became drastically and quickly more seriously ill. We call it Department 12-3. Morton told me to remember that, no matter what, here's a quote from him. If you hear something on 12-3, no you didn't. If you smell something on 12-3, no you didn't. If you see something on 12-3, no you didn't. If you hear someone, whether you know the voice or not, calling you, no you didn't. Leave the department immediately. Don't look back and stay calm. Go in the opposite direction of the voice. Of course, this was very unsettling to hear when I had to go up to that very department alone. After cleaning half of the department, I suddenly heard a knocking sound from one of the rooms, but kept working without reacting, because if you hear something, no you didn't. As I was finishing 4 rooms, I suddenly heard Morton calling me and saying he needed my help in Department 14-2. I remembered what he had said, stayed calm, and left the department quietly, taking the elevator down to the 2nd floor. I paged Morton, which we always used to contact each other during a shift, and asked if he had been to 12-3 and called me, and also asked if he needed help in 14-2. Morton was silent for a while and then said, "If I needed help, I would have paged you. You didn't respond, right?" Morton sounded really concerned, but I reassured him that I hadn't answered and had just left the department quietly, putting my cleaning card in place so everything seemed normal. Morton replied that he was glad to hear that and said we were done with 12-3 for the night. We'll report to DV that we missed 4 rooms. To this day, I still don't know what's up with 12-3. I just know I've experienced it many times since during evening and night shifts, and I will never go back there, either as staff or a patient. Department 12-4. On the same evening as the previous story, I had to clean in Department 12-4, which is the department just across from 12-3. This department is special. Here, the service staff must also check the surveillance footage during the afternoon and evening hours. While I was sitting and checking the surveillance, I got chills running down my spine. I jokingly filmed the screen of the surveillance system, as it's quite unnerving to sit alone in a closed department and watch the footage. To my great shock, I saw someone walking around in the waiting room on the footage. I even caught it on video, but the quality of my video was blurry in the seconds leading up to and during the moment the person was walking around. Department 28-1. Another evening, when I was on the evening shift, I had to clean in 28-1, which is another department known for being extremely haunted. It's a department where even during the day, staff feel uneasy being there. It's a locked department after 3 p.m., and unlike other outpatient departments, you need both a key card and a code to get in. There's no medicine or anything valuable there, but it's a department that no one wants to be in. Extra security has been added because the door has often opened by itself when patients or staff have walked past, even though the door was locked. I had to go in and clean, unlocking the door with both the key card and code. What's special about outpatient departments is that you don't turn on the lights when you clean in the evening to avoid patients thinking the department is open and wandering in. Anyway, I was in my own world cleaning when, during our evening shifts, we are allowed to listen to music through headphones, which I was doing this evening. There's a room 11, that never gets cleaned. No matter how many times you go in to clean, the door always gets locked again. It sounds like things are being knocked over and thrown around inside. When you open the door again, there's paper trash and all sorts of other things scattered all over the room. It's just a room you don't want to be in, because there's an incredibly uncomfortable feeling, and you feel like you're being watched. Additionally, you hear strange sounds throughout the department, like footsteps running down the hallway, things being thrown, knocking on doors and windows, and generally feeling watched throughout the department. I can't fully explain what's going on in the department, but it's not a nice place to be, and we all agree on that. Also, there's an elevator door leading into it, which can only be opened after 3 p.m. with both a code and key card. The service department's office is 2 floors above 28-1, so you often take the elevator down from the office. One night when I was about to start my night shift, I went up to clock in on the schedule, then took the elevator down to the ground floor. The door normally opens outward to the main hallway, but this night, it also opened inward to 28-1, and I heard a voice saying, "Come right in." The door to the hallway wouldn't open, and I kept pressing to open it until the door to 28-1 closed and the door to the hallway opened. I actually have one of Morton's stories about 12 to 3, and has his permission to share it. Morton has worked at the hospital for 40 years. When he was a young guy, he was assigned to 12 to 3. At that time, it wasn't widely known or discussed that the department was haunted. The department, which back then was an outpatient clinic, needed cleaning. It was Morton's first solo shift. He was on 12-3, cleaning as he should, when suddenly he heard his supervisor calling him from one of the rooms. When he went in, he saw a tall, lanky figure in the corner of the room wearing a top hat, similar to a magician's hat. He asked if he could help the man, and in that same instant, the man vanished, and the door slammed shut behind him. He tried to open the door but couldn't, so Morton ended up paging one of the porters, Klaus, who came up and let him out. Klaus said that when he arrived, the lights were flickering along the whole hallway, but when Morton and Klaus walked back out, the lights were off. Klaus returned to the porter's station, and Morton continued cleaning on December 3rd. The entire time, he felt like he was being watched and heard whispering several times. The following month, during a team meeting, Morton brought up his experience, and everyone on the evening night shift had experienced similar things on 12 to 3. That's when it started to become widely known that strange things happened there, at night, and in the evening. Within a year, they had collectively established some guidelines to keep everyone safe up there. This is now also a standard part of training when working night shifts. If you see, hear, or smell something, no, you didn't. If you hear someone calling your name, leave the department immediately, calmly, and quietly. Everyone takes it seriously, and when training new staff, they pass on this information. I also just remembered the first time I was training. After I'd been there for 6 months, I was assigned to train a new night shift colleague, Emilia. I went through the usual routine with her, but she mentioned that she didn't feel comfortable with it. I told her she could wait outside the department instead, which she preferred. However, she eventually regretted it, and since then, our training procedures have been updated. She stood outside room 12-3 and could hear sounds from inside multiple times. Some of the noises were indeed just me with the cleaning equipment, but she also heard knocking sounds on the glass near where she was standing. She started to get scared and called out for me, but I didn't respond. During training, only the person conducting the training has the pager, so there was no way for her to reach me. She stayed there waiting, growing more frightened. She heard the knocking on the window again, looked inside, and saw a figure with dark spaces where eyes should have been. Just empty blackness. At this point, Emilia was really scared and decided to run down the hallway, away from room 12-3, heading to the porter's station, where she waited for me. When I finished up and came out, she was gone. I paged one of the porters to see if they might have seen her, and they told me she was down in the porter's station, shaken and sitting with a cup of hot cocoa. When I went down there, she asked me what was in that room. I told her that I didn't know, but you get used to it. As long as you keep your fear in check and follow the precautions, nothing will happen. Thanks for tuning in. Watch another video if you dare.